I'm not being cheap. I'm being logical.
I do like that word. I'm being frugal.
Frugal.
Makes me sound professional.
Frugal, yeah, that's what it is. That's what it means. Frugal.
I'm educated cheap. I'm not just cheap.
Yes.
I'm educated cheap.
Yes. No, you educated.
The Hawaiian Comedian presents.
I've been doing comedy for over 23 years. And I've been on the road. I've been in different cities. I've been different things like that.
We're here to talk about everything, man. The topics you talk about with your friends, your family, questions you got for us. Twitty in the city.
Aloha.
Welcome or welcome back. It depends. If you're hitting that next button, this is the next episode. If you're just tuning in, welcome to Twitty in the City. I'm the Twitty. That's the THC. If you're new to this, it stands for the Hawaiian Comedian, but I'm not saying that because that's too long, so we call him THC for short. Welcome back. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button because we appreciate you. We appreciate the likes, and thank you for the results of the last episode on letting me decide on which barber to go with. If you didn't watch that episode, you can go back and watch it if this is your first time. So,
man, hold up. Before you even start. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I should have known.
Twitty. If you don't know, our stuff releases on Wednesday. This past Monday was my man's birthday.
I should have
I've been kind of excited. I've been shouting it to the world. I even told him, I said, I can't even wait till we get back in the studio again so that we can record this, so that we can tell the people that my man is big. What is it, 3'3"?
It is. I was born in 92.
What? Man, you so young. Dude, I'm half a century.
I know.
But I know you weren't going to say nothing. I know you was going to try to step over it.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, we got to let everybody know, yes, this past Monday was Mr. Twitty's birthday. And I just want to say happy birthday, and I want everybody out there to know that it was your birthday.
This is the pros/cons depending on who you are. Pro being THC, con me. Because he just said happy birthday on Monday, and I appreciate it, but it wasn't
Just walk right by him.
It wasn't like him, though. And I should have freaking known something was going to happen.
Yep.
Because I was like, no singing, no, just a simple like, hey, happy birthday, Twitter. I was like, that's cool, thank you. I should have freaking known you was going to wait till this
As a comedian, do you know how hard it is to keep my mouth shut?
That's why I was shook.
I was like, happy birthday, Twitty. And just right by him. He was like, nope. I was waiting.
I was cool waiting with it, though, because the last 3 years you made it big.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah,
I'm going to start calling in sick for my birthday weeks for the podcast.
You know, and I think that birthday song should be the only birthday song that anybody sings. The other birthday song is so depressing. It's so depressing. Happy birthday to... I don't like that. I like the Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
I like the happy birthday to
The other one is very slow. It makes you start regretting how old you are.
Then everybody else is like, happy birthday. And then you're going to blow out a candle, make everything dark. Like, wow, this is...
Well, I appreciate you doing the upbeat in one and not reminding me that I'm 33.
Yeah, you know what? And enjoy this. Enjoy your 30s. Like, my 30s messed up. I hated my 30s. My 30s, I hated. My 30s, I had to pay for everything stupid I did in my 20s.
See, I was so broke that I couldn't afford much. So I tell my wife this all the time. My 20s, I survived. My 30s, I thrive. And thus far, I'm thriving. I mean, I will tell you this, since you've known me, since I've moved to Idaho.
I get it, but
I've gone on way more trips in 1 year than I went in my entire 20s.
But you only 3 years into that 30.
I am.
So there's going to be some, I'm telling you right now, there's going to be some stuff from your 20s that's going to creep up on you. You're going to be like, damn, that's still around. That don't get cleared out, I'm telling you. Everything I did in my 20s, I had to pay for in my 30s. Once I paid for it in my 30s, my 40s, I made more money. I loved my 40s. My 40s was so much fun.
Yeah, I mean,
I love my 40s.
You ain't got to remind me. There's stuff that I still am paying, me and my wife.
You got 7 more years until you get to have playtime. Playtime is in the 40s.
Well, I'm having playtime in my 30s also. Speaking of aging and being in 30s, and to me, I'm older. You're saying I'm still young.
You are still young.
I am, but I ain't acting it.
I mean, if you used to cut your age in half, you pretty much, that's when you got your driver's license.
Yeah, that is true.
So,
but I'm just not happy, and
if you cut my age in half and I didn't have a driver's license at that point, I'm just, something's wrong.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
that's bad. But all right, you ready for this?
Okay.
So, I don't know if I'm just in my old man era or if I'm just being cheap or if I am just too much of an independent man.
Depend cheap though. Is cheap being frugal or is cheap just being cheap? Like cheap to me is like recycling and reusing napkins.
No, cheap as in trying to save $1.
So you're frugal.
Yes.
Frugal.
Yes.
I like frugal better than the word cheap.
Okay. I'm being selfish, frugal, or just an independent man. But I don't even know how to start this, man.
No, just start it.
Okay.
Just throw it out. Boom.
We ain't got no change. Got called up because you gotta approve everything.
Okay.
Guy was like, hey, we got enough the hood, everything looks good, but you're gonna need a new air filter and you're gonna need a new the other filter I need on my diesel truck. Anybody that is a diesel truck or mechanic knows what I'm probably trying to say and I can't say it. But there's two filters. There's one for your engine, and then there's one for my actual oil that combines it with the diesel fuel.
Okay.
Forgot what it's called. And I was like, okay, what's that's gonna run me? He was like, well, with the parts and then the labor, you're looking at another $350. And I was like,
okay, now are we talking like an oil place that changes oil, or are we talking like a dealership?
place that changes oil.
Okay.
So, and the younger me would have just been like, that's a hassle. Go ahead. But ever since I got a freaking house with a garage and I got a 300-piece tool set, I said, let me call you back. And I lied. So if the dealership's watching, I'm lied. I'm going to go to a meeting. I wasn't in no meeting, THC. I went in YouTube and Googled how much it costs, how easy it was. Both of them freaking things combined, dog, $175 and was a 30-minute job together.
$175. Yeah.
Because the filter, a regular air filter for your car is like $30, $40.
Maybe cheaper. Depends on what kind of filter you buy.
It was 30 because I have a diesel and I got the in-between one. There was a 20, there was a 40, there was a 60.
So just to change those two filters, they're talking $175.
No. For me to buy it myself is going to be 120 something.
So for them to do it, what was they going to charge?
It was going to charge me additional $250.
Yeah. No, that's not you being frugal.
Yeah.
And
is that wrong of me?
No, that's your old side too.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
Freaking piss me off, though.
No, embrace it. Embrace it. Don't be mad. Don't be mad. I'm telling you, that's how you're going to make more money later on.
So it just irked me because I was like, I get there is a labor fee. But I wasn't asking you to change my brakes or my rotors. This is a THC. This freaking filter in the engine, you didn't even need a power tool. You could have handled this with a Phillips screwdriver.
Let me ask you this. When he was explaining what he had to do, how much of that was you retaining and telling yourself you can do it yourself? How much of that was you going, I think I could do that. I think I could do that myself.
None of it until I heard the price. Then I backtracked.
So it took the price for you to Google whether or not, or for you to look up whether or not you could do it yourself.
This is why I'm on my old man. I remember back in the day, rest in peace. This is another story for another day. My envoy. Taking that to the shop. Oil change, filter, and even, because the envoy required 5 quarts of oil.
Yes.
But to do that, filters, all that was like $75. And so I'm doing math. I'm like, okay, diesel, it takes 6 quarts. That's going to put me at about 80, 90. I know that because it's 2 extra quarts in your standard 4.
Correct.
So I'm like $80. Then you go, this freaking filter, 40. That's 120. Then you go the other filter, which was 80. And then I'm like,
past 200 already.
Then even still, I'm like, even if you go 125 on labor, that still puts me under 500. What they were charging me with all of that and those was going to put me at $800.
Now you see now,
and I was like, that's a $300 swing from my estimate.
And you just
before I even looked up, once I found out how much the parts cost, that's what got me.
You a lot nicer than me. You actually told them you had to go to a meeting. That's what you said, right? You said you had to go. I had to go to a meeting and get off the phone.
Yeah.
They would have heard me on the other side right before I hung up. Oh hell no. Boom. They would have hurt. That's my old man in me already. That's my 50-year-old.
Right, but I'm not even 50 yet, bro. I'm
No,
33.
you
and
absolutely
I'm already
right.
there.
In your 20s, you just like, yeah, just do it. It's something I ain't got to do. I ain't got to worry about. Boom.
But it's ever since I got a freaking garage, dog.
Yeah.
I feel like I can
because
do
it makes sense now. Now you're starting to stack what you had. When you was in your 20s, it was just freelance. Let's go. Let's move. Let's do this.
Yeah,
let's do that.
I ain't have all the
now
tools.
Now you getting all your stuff in. Everything's starting to collect. Yeah.
Anybody out there that touched my truck, dog, you better come correct.
Yep. 100%.
Bro,
you're going to learn that when you get older, you're going to actually do that the way that you did that whole, I heard the price and then I went and did my research. When you get older, that's going to go backwards. You're going to start with what you can do and how you can do it and how much it's going to cost you. And then you're going to take, and this is what it's going to be. And actually it's the best way because you can have an outlook in the back of your mind.
Right.
To when you go there, you can be like, no, okay, this dude, he's really getting me now.
Yeah.
He's going to charge me like $150 for a filter that I know I can pick up for $20.
But when did that happen? That's the part I don't get.
When it happens a lot, like even up to your 30s, right? You've been dealing with these folks all the way up to your 30s.
Yes.
So the whole time it was going, you didn't know that it was festering inside of you to try to get this done yourself and to try to be more. And the first time you got, and it probably started from the first bill. When you got the first bill, the first thing in your head was, how can I get this cheaper next time?
Right.
So that's when it started.
But it didn't kick. My thing is
nobody ever realizes it until they actually see a number that makes them pause.
Yes. That's what I'm trying to figure out though. When did the price change that dramatically? Because
It depends on who you go to though. See that you're talking about automotive stuff. That's why I love my dude. My dude Rich that works on my truck. Like I have one mechanic. I don't want nobody else touching my truck.
Same.
Nobody else. If it's not me, I would rather have Rich touch my truck. Nobody else.
And that's where I'm at right now. I go to one, but I'm really tempted to start fishing around.
Yeah.
Because it's like I can't keep doing this. But granted, I will happily take my truck. I was ready to call you. If it would have been some serious, intense stuff, it would have been like if you got into a fight with me and you were like, I don't know who we punching. I would have been like, THC, I'm pulling up to the crib. I need this, this, and this. I'm changing this.
Done.
And I'd be like, I need is that.
I got jack stands. Come on.
And
let's go.
That's what I thought it was gonna be. Where I was like, okay, I can fish around the 100 and something. But once I found out, I ain't got to get on my back. It don't require. Well, I had to get on my back, but it didn't require a jack. I was like,
and that's where sometimes the old man will actually have a seat. Is that when you look at that and you look at it, you'll compare the prices. Now, if the price is dramatic, like if it's like a $600, $700, $800 difference in between you doing it yourself, but then if it's like let me ask you, what is the price? For me, it's like,
see, it depends on the project.
$50 to $60 difference. I won't even blink.
Oh, based on if
somebody give me a price,
charge.
Yes. If it's $50 to $60, if I do it, it's going to cost me $200. If they do it, it's going to cost me $240. It's going to cost me $240. They doing it.
Yeah, they'll do it. 100%.
That's the other part of being old is that you still don't want to be underneath that truck. You still don't want to be trying to.
No, and that's why I'm going to them. But also,
like what? Okay, so then what is your max?
Okay.
What's your max? My max is like $70. If it costs more than $70,
I would say 70. But that fluctuates. So
on the project,
yes,
okay.
Because you know this, my happened on the Envoy, and I freaking told you about it. The water,
the radiator,
no,
the coolant,
nope. Underneath driver's side, between driver and driver back. Man,
there's a lot of things.
I know.
There.
I feel like it's a water something.
There's a water pump.
Water pump. Thank you. Freaking. I thought it was something more complex than that.
No, it's just water pump.
Water pump went out.
Okay.
It's kind of a complex job, but really it's not if you got the right tools.
Yeah.
And see, that price was right at $100 difference. And I was like,
yeah, but that's a pain though.
But to me, it was worth it though.
No. I'm saying it's a pain to do it yourself on that because you gotta make sure your water pump reseals. Mm-hmm. You gotta make sure everything lines up. When you're trying to take, like, some water pumps are actually connected to the fan, and when you try to get the pump up, you got to take the fan. Like, it sometimes stuff like that. Like, yes, can I do it at my house? Sure, but is that gonna take me 2 days? Probably.
Yeah.
Will it take a mechanic a couple of hours? Sure.
It took me 4 hours. I got a little frustrated.
Yeah,
but I saved myself $100, and to me, it was worth it because of the fact how accessible it was. If it would have been in the middle of that Envoy, I would have been like, no. Well, all it required was either check. All it required was to jack up front or back tire, just a hair. I could get under there, and I can do what I needed to do.
And I'll be honest too, is that also getting older, you're not gonna want to do it no more.
I realize
you're not gonna want to do it no more.
And see, here's my math right now. This is some stupid guy math. If I can save myself now while I want to, it'll make me feel better that I know I can do it. But I'm just at that age where I shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. You're not at that age yet.
No.
I'm at that age.
I'm at the age, though, where it's like when I get to your age, I want to be able to look back and say, you know what?
I mean, because there's probably
a lot of due diligence and taking care of stuff that I could on my own.
And there's probably a lot of guys out there that are sitting there saying it right now. They're like, yeah, man, when I got older, I was like, nah, let him do it. I don't want to do that no more, which is completely, because even when I was in my 20s and my 30s, like my 20s, I was like, nah, I can do it. I can do it myself.
Yeah.
But then I've learned growing up, I've been working on cars for a while since I was in my teens. So like I would just do it myself. But it got to the point where I was just like, man, okay, this is too much. Nah, I don't want to do this. I don't want to have grease under my fingers for the next 2 weeks.
That's why you got to get the super rubber vapor spider
laundry soap.
Black, like, surgeon gloves. I started using those.
Man, you know what? Every time I started, you know how many of those I've ripped? Because my hands are so big. Like, I got big hands that those rubber gloves don't really, they fit tight. And the minute I come across like a bolt or a screw that catches it.
It depends on the job you're doing.
But I'm saying, like, my hand is like already stretching the glove. So the minute it gets one little tear.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the stress relief of the whole glove. And then the whole glove just wants to rip off.
It's a good thing to think about that you started trying.
Yeah.
But no, for me it didn't sound as a terrible price. And also in my 20s, I was in an apartment. So I didn't have nowhere to store all that equipment. Whereas now my garage, whole left side. I told you pictures, got a full rack that's got my impact, 2 wrenches, everything. All the batteries, the levels, the 300-piece socket set.
That's what I'm saying. Between you, your garage and my garage, we shouldn't be having to go anywhere.
And that's where I'm also at too, because see, growing up, I didn't have, most of my friends was like me, so it was like, we can do it. It's like, we got to go rent this stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I got you, I got a brother-in-law, we got
Josh.
I only got I got 2, sorry, I almost lied. Sorry. I got 3 brother-in-laws here. I got you. I got 2 friends. One of them used to freaking drag race. Mm-hmm. We got Josh at work. I got too many bodies now. If the 8 of us ain't got it, the mechanic needs to be working on it.
Yeah.
So, but I had to throw that out there because it hit a nerve in me where I recall myself.
Don't use the word cheap. Don't use the word cheap on yourself like that. Frugal and logical.
That sounds so.
You're looking. It's logical. It's logically. You shouldn't have to be like, okay, I'm not being cheap. I'm being logical.
I do like that word. I'm being frugal. Frugal makes me sound professional.
Frugal, that's what it is. That's what it means. Frugal.
I'm educated cheap. I'm not just cheap.
Yes.
I'm educated cheap.
Yes. No, you educated.
Sean, you're in the back. We got to use this as a pre-dog. I am educated cheap. I don't know how you can tell you and Johnny to work some magic, dog.
No, when somebody asks what educated cheap means, we just say frugal. Frugal. F-R-U-G-A-L.
Yo, that's how we got to end it, dog. Okay. Be frugal out there.
Be frugal.
Be educated cheap. Whatever one you want to use. But if you were like me and you thinking, you're just being frugal. That's
be least expensive, logical.
So
logically least expensive.
So on that note, thank you for joining Twitty in the City. Until next time, I am the Twitty. That is the THC. You have a marvelous morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you're watching. Until then.